There's something about silence that unsettles people. The world teaches us that when we are disrespected, we must fight back, raise our voices, and prove our worth. But I want to tell you something different today. Staying quiet after disrespect is not a sign of weakness. It is a mark of power. It takes strength to remain silent when everything inside you wants to respond. It takes wisdom to hold your tongue when others expect you to lose control. And it takes faith to trust that silence speaks louder than words ever could. When someone disrespects you, their goal is simple. They want a reaction. They want to see if they can shake you, unsettle you, pull you into their chaos. They are looking for evidence that their words or actions have power over you. And when you give in, when you argue, when you defend yourself, when you meet their anger with more anger, you hand them exactly what they were looking for. But when you stay quiet, you strip them of that power. You deny them the satisfaction of seeing you rattled. You show them that your peace is not so easily disturbed. It is easy to speak. It is easy to lash out, to throw words back at those who throw them at you. But the easiest thing is not always the best thing. There is great discipline in silence. There is great wisdom in restraint. When you refuse to react, you show that you are not controlled by the emotions of the moment, but guided by something far greater. The loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. More often than not, it is the quiet one who holds the real power. Think about this. If a storm rolls in, the wind howls, the trees bend, the rain beats against the earth, but the mountains stand firm. They do not argue with the wind. They do not push back against the rain. They do not waste their energy trying to fight a storm that will pass on its own. And when the skies clear, the mountains remain unchanged, unmoved, undisturbed. That is the kind of strength silence gives you. We live in a world that confuses noise with authority. People believe that if they shout the loudest, they will be heard. That if they argue long enough, they will be right. That if they demand attention, they will receive respect. But real authority doesn't need to announce itself. True power doesn't need to fight for recognition. A lion does not need to roar to remind the jungle that it is a lion. In the same way, you do not need to argue to prove your worth. Your value does not decrease because someone else refuses to see it. I've seen it time and time again. People waste their energy trying to change the minds of those who have already decided not to respect them. They think if I just explain myself, they'll understand. If I just speak louder, they'll listen. But respect is not something you can force, and dignity is not something you beg for. The moment you start arguing for your worth, you have already lost the battle. The right people will recognize it without you having to say a word. Silence is not submission. It is not avoidance. It is not weakness. It is strategy. It is discipline. It is knowing that not every battle is worth fighting and not every insult is worth addressing. Sometimes silence is the greatest response because it forces the other person to face their own behavior without your interference. When you refuse to react, you leave them alone with their words, their actions, their conscience. And nothing is more powerful than that. There is a time to speak and there is a time to be silent. But when someone disrespects you, silence is often the best choice. It is not about letting them get away with it. It is about showing that their words hold no weight in your world. It is about maintaining control over yourself when others lose control of themselves. It is about choosing peace when others choose chaos. So the next time someone disrespects you, don't give them what they're looking for. Don't lower yourself to their level. Don't waste your breath on people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stand firm like the mountain. remain steady like the lion, and let your silence remind them that their words have no power here. Disrespect is never easy to face. It stings. It shakes something inside of us, tempting us to react, to defend ourselves, to prove that we will not be treated that way. But before you let yourself get caught up in the emotion of the moment, take a step back and remember this. When someone disrespects you, it says more about them than it ever will about you. A person's words, actions, and attitude are a reflection of their own character, not yours. People speak from the condition of their hearts. A bitter heart speaks bitter words. An insecure heart seeks to tear others down. A prideful heart looks for ways to belittle those around it. When someone disrespects you, they are revealing what is inside of. Think about a mirror. If a mirror is cracked, it does not reflect an accurate image. It distorts what it shows. In the same way, when someone's heart is cracked with anger, jealousy, or insecurity, their words and actions become distorted. They may try to project their brokenness onto you, making you feel as if you are the problem. But you must remember, you are only standing in front of their mirror. Their reflection is not your reality. It is easy to take disrespect personally. It feels personal, but most of the time it has nothing to do with you at all. People carry wounds you cannot see. They carry struggles they do not speak of. And often the way they treat others is a direct result of the battles they are fighting within themselves. That does not excuse their behavior, but it does explain it. When a person lashes out, they are often not truly speaking to you. They are speaking to their own pain, their own frustrations, their own fears. Now, that does not mean you have to accept disrespect. It does not mean you allow yourself to be mistreated, but it does mean you can choose how you respond. You can let their words take root in you, or you can recognize them for what they are, an outward expression of their own inner struggle. You can absorb their negativity, or you can refuse to carry what was never yours to begin with. The moment you realize that disrespect is a reflection of the other person, not you, is the moment you set yourself free. Free from the need to explain yourself. Free from the need to win their approval. Free from the weight of their words. You stop feeling the urge to fight back because you understand that their battle is not yours to fight. Have you ever seen a calm sea? When the water is still, it reflects everything around it with perfect clarity. But if you throw a stone into that water, the ripples distort the reflection. That is what happens when you let someone's words shake you. You allow their stone to disturb your peace. But if you remain still, if you refuse to react, when someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect you to be offended, to argue, to defend yourself. And when you don't, when you stand firm and unmoved, it confuses them. It forces them to sit with their own words, to hear themselves without your interference. Sometimes that is the most powerful thing you can do, not to fight back, but to let their own actions speak to them louder than any response you could give. There is great strength in recognizing that you do not have to accept everything that is thrown at you. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every argument is worth your energy. Some things are better left unanswered, not because you cannot respond, but because they do not deserve. So the next time someone disrespects you, don't carry their words as if they belong to you. Let them go. Let them fall away like dust in the wind. And remind yourself that what they say, what they do, and how they treat others is a reflection of their heart, not yours. Respect is not demanded, it is commanded. And it is not commanded through loud words, angry reactions, or the need to prove a point. It is commanded through presence, through restraint, through an unshakable sense of self that refuses to be lowered by the actions of others. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect you to be rattled, to meet their fire with fire, to step into the chaos they create. But when you stay quiet, when you refuse to engage in their game, something shifts. The power moves from their hands into yours. There is something unsettling about silence. People who lash out, who throw insults, who look for ways to provoke others are looking for confirmation that their words have weight. They want to see the effect of their disrespect, to know that they have stirred something inside of you. And when they don't get it, when you remain still, calm, unwavering, it forces them to face themselves. They hear their own words echoing back at them with no interference, and for many that is far more uncomfortable than any argument you could have given. True strength is not in how loudly you speak, but in how well you can hold your peace. It takes no discipline to lash out. It takes no wisdom to argue, but to remain silent, to hold yourself with dignity when others choose disrespect, that is where real power lies. It is easy to be pulled into a battle of words, to feel that you must stand up for yourself by matching their energy. But you do not prove your worth by lowering yourself to their level. You prove your worth by showing that their words have no effect on you. A lion does not need to respond to the barking of a dog. It does not stop to argue. It does not concern itself with noise beneath its stature. And yet the lion is still the king of the jungle, whether the dog acknowledges it or not. In the same way, your worth does not change just because someone refuses to see it. The loudest person in the room is not always the strongest. Often, it is the one who speaks the least, but carries themselves with certainty. When you choose silence after disrespect, you do something most people are incapable of. You rise above it. You show that your self-respect is not dependent on the opinions of others. You demonstrate that your dignity does not waver in the presence of hostility. And that is what makes people stop and take notice. That is what makes them rethink the way they treat you. A person who respects themselves does not feel the need to prove it to others. They do not seek validation from those who would tear them down. They do not engage in battles that do not serve them. And because of that, they naturally command respect without ever having to ask for it. There is great wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to be silent. Not every situation requires your response. Not every insult is worthy of your energy. And when you understand that, you gain control, not just over the moment, but over yourself. When someone disrespects you and you respond with silence, you do not let their words dictate your emotions. You do not give them the satisfaction of knowing they have affected you. And without your reaction, their words lose their power. Their attempt to shake you falls flat, and they are left with nothing but the weight of their own actions. Respect is not about proving yourself to those who refuse to see your worth. It is about knowing who you are so deeply that their disrespect does not move you. It is about standing firm, unwavering, knowing that silence can often be the loudest response of all. So the next time someone speaks down to you, insults you, or tries to diminish you, do not waste your breath trying to change their mind. Stand tall, stay quiet, and let your silence remind them that respect is not something you beg for, it is something you command. Words are powerful. They can build or destroy, uplift or wound, create peace or ignite conflict. But just as words have power, so does silence. And in moments of disrespect, silence is often the wisest choice. Not because you have nothing to say, but because anything you say can and will be used against you. When emotions are high and tempers flare, people are not looking for truth. They are looking for a reaction. They are looking for something they can twist, something they can use to justify their own behavior. If you answer in anger, they will highlight your anger. If you respond defensively, they will paint you as guilty. If you argue back, they will use your words against you, twisting them to fit their narrative. And before you know it, the focus has shifted from their disrespect to your reaction. That is how the game is played. And the only way to win is not to play. There is a reason the wisest people are often the quietest. They understand that not every accusation needs an answer. Not every insult requires a response. Not every battle is worth fighting. The moment you engage in unnecessary arguments, you give others control over your words, your emotions, your peace. And the more you speak, the more ammunition you give them. Have you ever noticed how people remember the words you said in anger, but they rarely remember what provoked you? They will forget the disrespect that was thrown at you, but they will remember how you reacted. That is why silence is your greatest defense. It keeps you from being misquoted, from being dragged into pointless debates, from saying something in the heat of the moment that you may later regret. Because once words leave your mouth, you can never take them back. People who seek to provoke you are not interested in understanding your side. They are not looking for clarity, for resolution, for truth. They are looking for ways to pull you into their chaos, to draw you into an argument where they control the narrative. And when you engage, when you allow yourself to be baited into a war of words, you fall into their trap. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to give them what they want, you leave them with nothing to hold against you. You walk away with your dignity intact, your peace unshaken, and your reputation protected. There is great wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to be silent. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you force the other person to sit with their own words. You do not give them the satisfaction of seeing you flustered, angry, or defensive. You let them expose themselves for who they are without your interference. And often, the weight of their own actions will do more to convict them than anything you could have said. There is a reason even the strongest storms pass. No matter how loud the wind howls, no matter how hard the rain falls, the storm does not last forever. But if you fight against the storm, if you stand in the middle of it and shout back at the wind, you only exhaust yourself. You cannot silence the storm, but you can choose not to be moved by it. And in the same way, you cannot control the words of others, but you can control your response. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is not surrender, it is strategy. It keeps you from speaking in anger, from saying things you cannot take back, from giving others power over your emotions. It allows you to rise above the noise, to maintain your composure, to walk away with your integrity untouched. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this: your silence is not just an absence of words, it is a statement of strength. It is a refusal to be pulled into battles that do not serve you. It is a declaration that your peace is not so easily disturbed. Let them say what they will. Let them do what they must, but do not hand them your words to use against you. Stand firm, stay quiet, and let your silence be your shield. Life will always present opportunities for conflict. People will test you, they will disrespect you, they will try to pull you into arguments that drain your energy and steal your peace. And if you are not careful, you will spend your days fighting battles that are not worth your time, responding to words that do not deserve your attention, and giving away energy that should be preserved for greater things. Not everyone deserves a response, not every insult requires an answer, and not every battle is worth your strength. There is a cost to engaging with those who only wish to tear you down. Every time you allow yourself to be pulled into meaningless arguments, you pay with your peace. Every time you respond to someone who has no intention of understanding you, you pay with your mental clarity. Every time you defend yourself against people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you pay with your emotional well-being. Every time you defend yourself against people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you pay with your emotional well-being. And when you add up all those costs, you realize that you have been giving away something far more valuable than their words were ever worth. It is easy to react. It is easy to take every attack personally and feel the need to set the record straight. But you must ask yourself, what do you gain? What reward comes from proving yourself to those who are never going to respect you in the first place? What victory is there in winning an argument that should never have been had? The truth is, when you spend your time engaging with those who do not matter, you take time away from what does. Silence is not about avoiding conflict. It is about choosing where to place your energy. It is about recognizing that your peace is far too valuable to be thrown away over petty words and meaningless debates. When you refuse to engage, when you walk away from pointless arguments, you are not losing. You are winning. You are winning back your time, your clarity, your focus. You are reserving your strength for battles that matter, for conversations that build rather than destroy, for people who deserve your presence. A person who knows their worth does not feel the need to fight for it. A person who values their time does not waste it on those who only seek to provoke them. And a person who understands the power of silence knows that sometimes the best response is no response at all. Have you ever seen someone argue just to be heard, just to prove a point, just to have the last word? They exhaust themselves, running in circles, saying the same things over and over, hoping to force respect out of people who will never give it. And at the end of it all, they have won nothing but frustration. They have spent their energy on something that did not deserve it. They have allowed someone else's words to dictate their emotions, their focus, their state of mind. But the person who stays silent, the person who refuses to be pulled into every battle, walks away with their strength intact. They do not waste their breath trying to convince those who have already made up their minds. They do not allow the words of others to disturb the stillness within them. And because of that, they remain steady, calm, unshaken. There is great freedom in realizing that you do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. There is power in understanding that your silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you choose to walk away from unnecessary conflict, you are not surrendering. You are protecting what is valuable. You are preserving your energy for things that matter. You are refusing to let the noise of others steal the quiet strength within you. So the next time someone tries to drag you into a battle that serves no purpose, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Is this worth my energy? Is this worth my time? And if the answer is no, then walk away. Stay quiet. Let them argue with themselves. And keep your strength for something far greater. There will always be moments in life when you are treated unfairly. People will speak to you with disrespect. They will undermine you. They will challenge your character, and they will do things that make you want to respond, to defend yourself, to make sure they understand that you will not tolerate being treated that way. But in those moments, when everything inside of you is telling you to react, I want you to remember this. Dignity is not proven through words. It is revealed through restraint. Anyone can speak back. Anyone can argue. Anyone can let their emotions get the best of them and respond in the heat of the moment. That is easy. But real strength, real wisdom, and real dignity are found in the ability to remain calm when the world around you tries to shake you. It takes discipline to walk away when someone is provoking you. It takes confidence to stay. It takes power to hold your peace when someone is trying to steal it. Many people believe that silence means weakness. They believe that if you do not respond, you are allowing others to walk over you. But that is not true. Silence is not surrender. Silence is strategy. It is a way of showing that their words do not define you, their actions do not shake you, and their disrespect does not lower you. When you refuse to engage, you are not giving up. You are rising above. Think about a fire. A fire needs fuel to keep burning. It needs wood, it needs oxygen, it needs something to feed it. The moment you take away its fuel, the fire dies out on its own. Conflict works the same way. Arguments, negativity, and disrespect need your reaction to keep going. They need you to fight back, to defend yourself, to prove your point. But when you refuse to engage, when you stay silent, you take away the very thing that fuels the fire, and eventually it dies down. People who throw insults, who stir up drama, who seek to tear others down, are often doing so out of their own inner struggles. They are looking for a reaction because it validates them, it gives them power. But when you do not respond, when you do not give them what they are looking for, you leave them to wrestle with their own words. And many times, that silence is more powerful than anything you could have said. Oh! Dignity is not about proving yourself to others. It is about knowing who you are so deeply that their words do not affect you. It is about walking away with your head high, knowing that your worth is not up for debate. It is about choosing peace over conflict, wisdom over impulse, and self-betrayal over the need to be right. Have you ever seen a river? A strong, steady river does not stop to argue with the rocks in its path. It does not waste time fighting every obstacle. It flows past them, unbothered, focused on its course. That is what it means to live with dignity. It means choosing to move forward, to focus on the things that matter, to not allow yourself to be distracted by the noise of those who seek to bring you down. Holding your peace is not just about avoiding unnecessary arguments. It is about protecting your spirit. It is about choosing to live in a way that aligns with your values, your principles, your faith. It is about refusing to let the bitterness of others poison your heart. There is a time to speak and there is a time to be silent. There is a time to defend and there is a time to walk away. But when disrespect comes your way, when words are thrown like weapons, when people try to provoke you into a battle that is not worth fighting, the greatest thing you can do is remain unmoved. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you do not need to say it. Your dignity speaks louder than any words ever could. So the next time someone tries to steal your peace, remember who you are. Remember that you do not have to prove your worth to anyone. Keep your head high, stay quiet, and let your dignity do the talking.